Good afternoon. Welcome back. Strategic management. Today, we want to talk about strategic management process. Strategic management process. In this unit, you will be introduced to the concept and function of strategic management, the process of strategic management, benefits or advantages and limitations, or the disadvantages of strategic planning, and reasons why strategic plans fail. The objectives for today's course The objectives we wish to achieve today is 1. At the end of this unit, you should be able to comprehend the following as relates to strategic management process. 1. Define the concept of strategic management. 2. To discuss the process of strategic management. 3. To list and explain the advantages and disadvantages of strategic management. 4. State the reasons why strategic plans fail. 5. The first one is strategic management, definition of concepts. Strategic management consists of competitive move and business approaches to produce successful performance. It denotes management game plan for running the business, strengthening a firm's competitive position, satisfying consumers or customers, as well as achieving performance targets. According to Lamb in 1984, strategic management is an ongoing process. It defines strategic management as an ongoing process that evaluates and controls, and controls the business and the industries. In which the company is involved. Assesses its competitors and set goals and strategies. To meet all existing and potential competitors. And then reassess each strategy. Annually or quarterly. That is, this is done regularly to determine how it has been implemented. And whether it has succeeded, or needs replacement. By a new strategy. To meet changed circumstances. New technology, new competitors, new economic environment, or a new social financial or political environment. This is according to Lamb in 1984. Strategic management is the process of specifying the organization's mission, vision, and objectives, developing policies and plans, often in terms of projects and programs, which are designed to achieve these objectives, and then allocating resources to implement the policies and plans, projects, and programs. Strategic management is management of change. Why? Because it involves the system of corporate values, corporate culture, and all managerial process of change, such as leadership planning, control, and human resources management. Strategic management provides overall direction to the enterprise and is closely related to the field of organizational studies. In business administration, of course, it is useful to talk about strategic alignment between the organization and its environment, or strategic consistency. According to Ario, 2007, strategic consistency means when the actions of an organization are consistent with the expectations of management, and these in turn are within the market and, of course, the environmental context. strategic management process. According to Churchman, in 1968, Churchman in 1968 views strategic management as a series of steps in which top management should accomplish at least 5 tasks suggested below. One, first is to identify the business fundamental values. Identify the business fundamental values. Goals and objectives. That arise from them. Two, to assess the business environment. To assess the business environment, what does it mean? This business environment means forces outside the business itself that may be opportunities or threats. 3, to assess the business resources and capabilities. What does this mean? That is, those things within the control of the business, such as people, machinery, facilities, contracts, image, and goodwill that can be allocated to achieve goals and objectives. 4, to identify or form the organization's components. Components can be the internal units that receive allocated resources and carry out the business work, and an organizational structure that includes the units themselves and the relationships of authority, responsibility, and communication that they have with one another. 5, develop the management and decision-making structure. the management and decision-making structure. That is, the process used to allocate the business or the business's resources to its components so as to realize goals and sustain values within the constraints of environment. Other interdependent factors in the strategic management process are listed below. We have strategic planning, we have strategic formulation, next is strategic implementation, and strategic evaluation. Strategic planning, defined as the key link between strategic management and an organization's external environment. Resource management is the factor that links strategic management to the organization's resources, including finances, facilities, and equipment, land, access to information, goodwill, and personnel. Strategic planning is a formal process where assumptions, reasons, and plans themselves are all written with figures to serve for future reference. Essentially, strategic planning is a systematic and logical planning process done at the corporate level or top level. Of the organization. Since it is mainly concerned with the long-term aspect of the business. Long-term aspect of the business. Even research studies have concluded that strategic management is an integral and important function of organizational life. Why? Because strategic management process is seen as a powerful tool, and their value is with the executives and their ability to use the tool effectively in managing the enterprise. Next is strategic formulation. Strategic formulation involves allocation and management of sufficient resources. Efficient resources can be financial, personnel, operational support, times and technology. Time and technology support. Strategic formulation is setting of objectives for the organization. It's a performing situation analysis. Well, before this, strategic formulation involves setting objectives for the organization. It is also performing a situation analysis, self-evaluation, and competitors analysis, both internal and external. Of course, objectives can be short-term and others can be on long-term basis. All these objectives suggest a strategic plan, which provides the details of how to achieve these objectives. A better explanation of strategic formulation is that it involves crafting vision statements, other long-term view of a possible future, mission statements, that is the role that the organization gives itself in the society. Crafting vision and mission statement of an enterprise or organization. Here, it states the corporate objectives, both financial and strategic business units, the SBUs, both financial and strategic, and tactical objectives. All these objectives should suggest a strategic plan, as mentioned earlier, because it provides the details of how to achieve these objectives. Strategic implementation. Involves managing the process, like results, evaluating the efficacy and efficiency of the process, controlling for variances, and making adjustments to the process as necessary. It involves establishing a chain of command. A chain of command or some alternative structure. alternative structure such as cross-functional teams, Essentially, strategic implementation requires assigning responsibilities of specific tasks or processes to specific individuals or groups. Strategic evaluation and control. This is the final stage in the strategic management process. Here, managers ensure that all chosen strategies work to achieve the organization's objectives. The activities also include reviewing the internal and external factors that are the basis of current strategies and measuring performance and taking corrective measures. Again, it is the final strategic management process wherein chosen strategies work out to achieve the organization's objectives as stated in mission and vision of the company. Involves reviewing the internal and external factors that are the basis of current strategies. Are the basis of current strategies and measuring performance and taking corrective measures. Other strategic options are evaluated in corporate strategy. They include the areas of suitability. Will it work? Feasibility. Can't it be made to work? Acceptability. Will they work it? All these are essential elements, options of strategic management process. Now, we have defined strategic management process. It's a process of systematic and ongoing approach embarked by organizations, enterprises, going concerns to formulate, implement, and evaluate strategies to achieve set goals and objectives, simply put. And we've talked about the definition of strategic management process: planning, environmental analysis, SWOT analysis, those are strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, strategic formulation, done, strategic implementation, control, and the likes. Now, next is the history of strategic management. The history of strategic management. This can be read and digested Or we shall summarize in a nutshell what this entails. Strategic management as a discipline originated in the 1950s and 1960s. There was a lot of exponents on the literature. The most influential pioneers were Alfred D. Chandler, Philip Selznick, Igor Ansoff, and Peter Drucker. Alfred Chandler, for instance, recognizes the importance of coordinating the various aspects of management under one all-encompassing strategy. He opines that a long-term coordinated strategy is necessary and will give a company structure, direction, and focus. In 1957, Philip Selznick, in his own contribution, introduced the idea of matching the organization's internal factors with external environment, circumstances, and factors. This idea was developed into what we now call SWOT analysis by the learned. Andrews and others at the Harvard Business School Management Group. Strengths and weaknesses of the firm are assessed in the light of the opportunities and threats from the business environment. Igor Ansoff, in his own contributions, built on Chandler's work by adding a range of strategic concepts and inventing a whole new strategy. He had a strategic grid that compared market penetration strategies, product development strategies, market strategies development, and horizontal and vertical integration and diversification strategies. In 1965, he wrote on classic corporate strategy when he developed the gap analysis, still used today. It is used to understand the gap between where we are currently and where we would like to be, and develop what he called a gap-reducing actions. Peter Drucker, a prolific writer of management, gave his own contributions to strategic management in two areas that are very pertinent or important. Firstly, Peter Drucker stressed the importance of objectives, that any organization having no clear objectives certainly cannot be profitable. Based on the objective principles, Peter Drucker wrote a book on management theory of management by objective. MBO. In 1954, that was when he wrote that book. According to Drucker, the procedure of setting objectives and monitoring your progress should involve the entire organization, that is, from top to bottom. Secondly, Peter Drucker's contribution was in predicting the importance of what today we would call intellectual capital. He predicted that the rise of what he called the knowledge worker and explained the consequences of this for management. He noted that knowledge work is non-hierarchical. Work will be carried out in teams, with the person most knowledgeable in the task at hand being the temporary leader. This has been summarized in a nutshell. We can read further. But before going to the decision-making process, let us take note of the importance of strategic management. We just touched some of them. It increases employee satisfaction and motivation. Two, It allows for identification and exploitation of opportunities. 3. It gives faster and better decision-making process. It allows more effective allocation of time and resources to all identified opportunities. What are the limitations of strategic management? One, it can cause an organization to define itself too narrowly. When a strategy becomes internalized, into a corporate culture, it can lead to group thinking. Finally, reasons why strategic plans fail. One here, the first is some of the reasons why strategic plans fail include the following. 1. Poor communication. 2. Failure to manage change. 3. Failure to follow the plan. 4. Failure to understand the customer. Next is inability to predict environmental reaction. Also, overestimation of resource competence. Failure to coordinate is next. We also have failure to obtain senior management's commitment. This happens a whole lot. Failure to obtain employee commitment. In conclusion, in this unit, we have learned that strategic planning, formulation, implementation, and evaluation activities occur at 3 hierarchical levels: the corporate, the divisional or strategic business units, and functional. However, it is worthy to note that the strategic management process is dynamic and continuous. The process never really ends. In summary, in this unit, we all have been exposed to strategic management process, the history or genesis of strategic management, and the importance and limitation to strategic management. You have also been taken through the reasons why strategic plans fail. We have so many references for further reading. We have the Churchman 1968 system approach to strategic management. We have Charfe in 1985, the main elements of strategic management theory. We have Thompson and Strickland in 1987, strategic management, concepts and case. When next we meet, we shall be talking about the decision-making process proper, where we will talk about a breakdown, objectives for our next meeting on decision-making process shall be the definition of decision-making, identifying the process involved. We classify the decisions. We describe group decision making. And of course, discuss creative thinking and steps involved in creative thinking. All these are embedded within the objectives for our next meeting and, of course, discussion. Then we come to the conclusion and summary. Dear listeners, for today, we have come to the conclusion, and I pray that God, in His infinite mercy, will continue to shower His never-ending blessings on all of us. Amen. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. God bless everyone. My humble regards to all our respective families and households. Thank you. God bless you.